Draw simple, easy.
Well, hello there everybody, I hope you're all doing very well. Today for Draw Simple Easy, we're going to be having a go at drawing a quick, simple, easy picture of Unit 2B. I think that's what she or it is called, from Nier Automata. A very popular game, which you guys have been requesting, but I do some drawings about months and months ago, so I'm very late to the party. Now grab yourself a sheet of paper, and to get this figure down, I'm going to go ahead straight away and start by drawing a nice big circle right up in the center of my piece of paper. And I get a circle going by drawing lots of small strokes to get that kind of vaguely circular shape correct, up and around, maybe too far off to the left, so just bring that up in on the right. Don't forget you can always use an eraser just to bring your building and construction lines in just a little bit when they need to be, but something like that. And I'm going to drop only slightly off to the left of center line of this circle, and I'm going to drop this line only slightly below the circle itself, just like this. So if you imagine this circle is split in half down the middle, split in half again into quarters, I'm only going 1/4 circle height even lower than that. And this is going to be my draw line for the character. So I'm going to smoothly come down off the outside edge of this circle like so, just below the edge of the circle itself, and then bring that across and in this guiding line, be the chin. And then on the other side, I'm just going to come up and away in a very similar manner, but this one's going to curve up and into the circle a bit like so, because the face is ever so slightly just off to the left. Now in this design, we're going to drop down, imagine a center line that goes down from here from the middle of where the neck will be, and we're going to drop a neckline halfway down the distance of this jaw. On this side here, there goes one, and on this side here as well, there goes the other part. Nice and long, because it's going to have a collar around it for the weird black maid outfit thing that's going on. And what I'm going to do is imagine a shoulder line that sits around about here, so that's probably going to be about 1/3 of the overall height of this head, down again, just like so, maybe a little bit less. And it's going to be about 2 heads wide, this shoulder line. So if you imagine this circle distance, I'm just going 1 here and 1 here. That's how I'm marking off how wide I want things to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and, because things are slightly off to the left again, create an elliptical shape, just a smooth curve that is the shoulder area here. And I'm going to bring that down and around off the bottom of the page here, and curve slightly towards the left as I bring it around on this side as well, just like so. And I'm going to imagine a line that curves slightly to the left of center again, and that's going to be our middle measuring point. Now I'm going to put in some shoulder circles around about here on this side, and a similar thing on this side here, just to indicate where the arms are coming out. But there's all sorts of bits going on with the fluff and bump and shape of this character. So I'm going to have some lines which drop off down here. That's going to be one arm. This is going to be the other arm for our guiding lines. But we're going to come back to all of that in just a moment. Let's go back to this head. Now, on here for this character, where we've got our halfway line, I'm actually going to go just slightly below this. And I'm going to create a curve that comes up and around like so. Let's make sure that's all nice and clear, just like this, because this character has a blindfold, which makes things a little bit easier to draw for the face, but you still need to measure it out and make sure you've got things as right as they can be. So if this is the bottom of the blindfold, the top is going to be just below our halfway point as well. And if this curve is going down, this curve is ever so slightly curving up like that. And also off of the left of center, there's another part of it which comes right down and across to cover part of the cheek like so. So we've got this main band here and a little bit that also comes off down the side. Now the nose of this character then is going to sit right where the bottom of this circle line is, just to the left of center. A tiny little nubbin of line that comes out to the left like that, then hooks back up and in towards to be the top of the nose. And then I'm just going to create a little triangle of shape off to the left of that as well, which is where everything's catching the light as it goes up and in. And then as for the mouth, we're going to be just a little bit further up than halfway here and create just a slight smile, maybe something like that. Keeping it very small, it just shows the white of teeth and so on. Just like this, just curving up. And then what we get to do is go below that to indicate the thickness of the lip with another line just down here. And then we're probably going to just darken off the edges and of course maybe just drop down the middle. There'll be some top lip here, but it's all very thin and very fine. And don't forget there's a beauty spot just around about here as well. So with this character, a lot is going on in terms of the shape of the hair. Now I'm going to use a guiding line and essentially, let's just bring this edge in a little bit better, that's nice. A guiding line which is going to be for a headband firstly. So using the top of this curve of the circle, I'm going to imagine just sprouting off the top here, there's a headband shape that comes up and around like so, before dropping back down, something like this. I'm just going to rotate this piece of paper so I can get a nice smooth curve to work with. Just like that, following the natural curve that my hand works with. And then back around, still in the middle. And we're going to start to map out some hair. So firstly, around and in the fringe. There's some hair that starts off just up on this inside edge. And I'm just curving around slightly towards the direction of the nose, but not going past the bottom of the blindfold here. So we've got one curving line coming in here. And we're going to build this up with these curving triangular shapes, nice and simple. So if I've got one line here, I'm going to go just back up to the headband again when it all starts. And I'm going to create a much bigger curve that comes right round, down across the face, past the headband here. So another line right down, around and across. That's going to be a big section of hair as well, which I'm going to just bring back up with a slightly straighter line as it heads towards the top of the head like so. And then now I'm going to bring this kind of triangle of shape in to just curve in and meet just above that headband line, just above here. And then another bit down on this side as well. It's going to be maybe just curving off the other way ever so slightly. Oh, excuse me. Holding the pencil very loosely when I get my curves in, obviously. And then another bit of this curving line is going to sweep right down and in and stop near the mouth. So I'm going to come down and sweep just below that mouth line for a point, just around about there. And then this is going to curve right out and around like so. And it's going to curve quite far away from the head into a big circular shape here, which is now going to go around the top of the headband, only slightly further above it, to mark the back of the hair and the overall distance that the hair is away from the head. Something up and around like this, all the way around like so. And then on this side as well, it's going to of course drop back down and in. So let's just go back down to this side before we build everything else on the rest of the side. And we're going to, again, from this big triangular shape here, go a little bit further down again, just drop down to this point, kind of getting closer to that chin level, and then create another curve that just comes right back and around and in like so, meets up halfway up the side of the head. And then we're just going to create a few more points, but again, just create this hairline coming down, creating this white bob that she sort of has as it sits around the place. Maybe you can get a few strands of hair. Wherever you see fit, you can place a few more bits down there. And of course, behind things, there's going to be a couple jagged bits of hairline. Just create the rest of the shape of the hair as it sits behind everything, like so. So continuing on the right hand side, we've got these big bits of triangle hair shape in. We're going to put in an even bigger one, which meets off about halfway past this blindfold line here, down on this triangle of hair. And this is going to sweep off the side of the face and out, just like so. Mimicking the way this line flows in here, this one flows out and cuts down about here. Gives some balance to the face as well. Then this is going to be part of a triangle shape that basically comes up, right up to around about here, just like this. Curves everything back down and in. And then this gap here, I'm just going to fill up with one more bit of hair, which is going to curve all the way around and just match itself inside that point, right up along here. Lovely. Of course, all of these guidelines nice and thick, but when we separate out our final drawing lines, it's going to be really clear as well. So as this face makes its way up and in on this side, I'm just going to tighten up that edge ever so slightly. And we're going to drop in a few bits of hair again on this side. Nice big bit of hair and triangle comes down there. And then at this level here, we've still got all sorts of bits of hair, which are just kind of zigzagging in and out like so. And then as the hair comes down behind the hairband on this side, which I'm just going to drop that line a little bit closer in like this. Lovely. It again just follows a very similar shape to the bob, so it's down and out and around like so. And we're just going to break this up ever so slightly by creating a large area of hair, smoothly curves in here. I'm turning this over to get a nice smooth line yet again, just like so. Background again, all still in shot on the camera, excellent. And then again, we're just going to pop a couple bits. So one's going to be a bit that comes up around here, and then a couple bits behind that just come down and out. 1, 2, and then a little bit just kind of poking out around about here as well. 3. So we've got all these bits of hair we're going to slightly break up. A quick line around here to break up this bit at the front. A line in here that just breaks up the points of this large triangle section, and we'll split it into around about 2, just around about there. Then on this side, this bit's got a separate bit of hair that just pokes off like so. And as for this part here as well, we're just going to split that into 2 sections. And we're using these guideline triangles really just to keep breaking up with a few extra lines to create our shape. This neckline I'm going to bring out a fair bit, something closer to that. It's going to be much better. And we're going to have a circle that's ever so slightly downward, just below the line of the chin, which is going to be where the top of this kind of dress area starts off. And then I'm going to create another couple of rounded guidelines, just arcing round here, and then arcing round again down by this collarbone lines, and that's going to help me understand the flow of the material at the top. So where I've got these shoulder circles in as my guide points, I'm just going to have material that bumps round like so, 1, and then flattens a bit, 2, 3, and does something similar on this side, bumps round a bit, and then just makes its way down and across like that. And this material is essentially just showing that everything's curving round across, pulling towards the front, coming across and in, like so. Great. So with these arm shapes, if we imagine our cutoff point around about here, we need to do something about these great big shoulder pads this character has. So I'm just going to create a slightly abstract shape that really just grows off around about here like so. Bulbs kind of back down in one shape, but slightly outlines the shape of this shoulder, just like this, and around like that, but then bulbs off again around about this point before coming back in, just like so. And then a very similar thing on this side. I'm going to imagine again, we're coming up off of here. I've got this kind of lump of material that frills out quite a bit, starts to come down, but then actually if I go a bit lower, there's another bit that's coming right out and around, much bigger, much wider, curving back in. And you can kind of split this like a bit of a lumpy cloud shape, just get another bulb of space that lumps out like that. And it just shows how this material's all puffed out and all over the place. And the same on this side as well. This is all happening because this material is really big. It's kind of doing its own thing, like so. And then the arms we're going to just drop out with a quick couple of lines down here and down here. And same on this side, quick arm coming down here and around about there as well. There'll be maybe a couple of folds of material on these arms there and there. And then also something on the same like so. But that's kind of simply what we're doing there. So now we need to just get in and work on the detail on the chest. So where I've got the bottom of these shoulder circles, down here and down here, I'm going to create a guideline that comes up towards the neck, one here and one here, to help understand just the shape of the material and everything. And then right up here, I'm going to create a curve that goes to around about this point here, right up and around and back. And this curve is basically like an eye shape we're going to create that shows the open material around the chest. Now before we map in the rest of that space, let's have a line that comes just below the bottom of these kind of puffy shoulder frills, round about this height, and that's going to be the bottom of the boob level for the chest. And because I've got this line down here that shows the front surface area of the chest, I kind of know we're going to have one boob that's going to occupy most of this space, and that's going to be in a shape. Normally a circle is how we would start, but everything is kind of weighted. So this boob is going to be a slightly flattened circle, so to speak, still rounded, around about here, get a nice good curve going, and it's still going to curve right out to the right hand side and come up to meet this line that we've got going on up here, just like so. And you'll see that it's kind of like a slightly flattened water balloon, that's just sitting with a bit of weight squeezing it down. So in a very similar way, I'm just going to curve right back round, going slightly past that center line on this side, and then we're going to do a similar thing on this side, but obviously slightly off to the left hand as well. So again, just a curve that actually goes down and around and comes right out to around about here, a lot more sideways on, and of course curves back up and around towards this kind of curving line that we've started off as well as a guide point, before continuing to curve round, making its way back in, where it maps to the chest, kind of tucks down like so. So there we've got the two boobs in. We're going to, underneath here where we've got the rest of this ribcage shape, just show a tuck of material or two, and then drop the lines off down there and down there. And also we're going to go from the under edge of this boob here and just create a tuck of material or a fold line. It just shows the fabric's pulling across there, and do the same in the other direction underneath, show the fabric's pulling right back again. Great. So now we're just going to map the rest of this really quickly. On this side here, there's going to be about halfway across the end of this boob here to this top part of this curve. We're going to start a line there, let's mark that out. And we're going to do a very similar thing right up on this side. And we're going to show a curve that stops right down about here as well. And this is where it's all open on the material. So I'm just with light strokes creating a curve that's going to be in the fabric up and around like this, and back up and around like so. And then there's quite an intricate design that actually goes on in the middle here. So if we map this out as simply as possible, I'm going to start by imagining a triangle of space, a really kind of flat, in fact let's call it an iris, an eye shape that matches this curve here, that goes right in there. But really, it's going to be one curve here, right in the middle, and then two other curves, one there and one there. This kind of reminds me of when I used to try to draw the really old 80s Batman symbol. It's all sorts of curves to get your head around. Now that we've got that line down, we're going to copy it again, just slightly above, up here, and back around here. And then we're going to actually just take this shape and we're going to make a triangle point out of that, right back up to this center point, right back up here. That's a guideline for this shape. And then we're just going to create another kind of 3 curvy bumps on this side as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just go one curve like this, another curve like this, then one to the top, a bit like a bit of Christmas tree. What is it? Holly, I think? Just like holly leaves. Just basically curving in from these guidelines. And again, I'm going to have another line now that follows this shape. Now we've got that all marked in like so, just on the outside edge, following the curves that we've just drawn on, like this. And then now we get to just put in some of the details. On this side, there's a curl that just goes into a kind of point for this design, and then the fabric meets off. So we'll just get that there. And a similar thing, maybe slightly flattened because of the angle, is happening on here as well. And then on this point, there's going to be a line that goes up and away like this, and on this point up and away as well. And again, that's just going to mark out another bit that kind of just goes off like a bit of a trunk or a branch. Just another kind of poly, spiky shape thing. Just punctuates off like so. And then in the middle, it's kind of vague, but there's basically some triangular shapes. I'm going to imagine just in here, there is another curved line, again following what we've got, indicating a very thin strip of material here. And then that's going to go into a triangle shape of 2 more sections. One section towards the middle here, and then one section at the top. It's a very definite triangle like such. Let's line up those lines a little bit more. Just like so. And then just some little bits of material filling these gaps, not touching any of the edges, but just to show there's all sorts of shapes and bits going on. So just some abstract triangle shapes fill that all in. And then that's basically it. We've got ourselves the black headband. That's going to be all filled in. Our hair. I mapped our area for the blindfold, which we might just put the odd fold line in as well. Just there and there. Just to give that some depth. And essentially we've got ourselves a super quick, simple, easy picture of Unit 2B, just standing up, having a good time, chilling out. I'm going to drop into some time-lapse, everybody, so that you can see which lines I'm actually inking over and which lines I'm going to rub out. And I'll see you guys right at the end. And there you have it, everybody, a nice, quick, simple, easy picture of Unit 2B from Nier Automata. I hope you guys found this quick tutorial to be useful if you wanted to have a go at home. I'm going to go ahead and just colour in this headband nice and black straight away with this pen whilst I'm sitting here. And let me say a great big thank you for watching along. If you haven't already, come click subscribe to the channel, mikeymegamega, because we have loads of how to draw tutorials for various characters, as well as in a very general sense for anime and manga. I'd love to have you guys along. And of course, if you ever like, you can come support me on Patreon as well, because making free videos and drawing tutorials on YouTube is only possible thanks to people's support on there. And of course, you get copies of the artwork and loads of other rewards as well. I hope you guys all have a very lovely week, and I'll see you later. Take care.